everyone. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today on Universal Analytics and how it can help your online business grow. We have with us today, as part of our speaker, Bhumika Joshi. She is an implementation specialist here at Tatvic. She's led many large implementation projects with Tatvic, like multi-site, multi-location customers, and she's an expert on Universal Analytics. She's been quoted on several magazines and have spoken at different conferences. Yours truly on the left-hand side, my name is Ravi, and I'm a co-founder at Tatvic. I've been a business analyst forever my career, and one of my, really the thing that drives me is sort of to find a needle from a haystack, to find a real insight from the, like a large chunk of data. I'm a big fan of R, Tableau, and SPSS, and those are the tools that I use primarily. And I've spoken at several conferences, SMX, and IRCE, and Super Week, or several others. So I'm so glad that we all are here talking about Universal Analytics, and the outline of this webinar today, before we get into the outline, I quickly wanted to do an admin thing. Please make sure that your mic is muted, you're able to listen to us properly, and we're going to have a recording of this webinar, so feel free to, sort of not to worry about the recording or missing parts. Just make this webinar as a wine bar, so just make yourself comfortable. Feel free to ask any question during the webinar, and if it fits in the topic, we'll just sort of ask the presenter right away, or we can take it at a later session. And there's going to be a survey at the end of this webinar. I deeply request you to provide us a survey input so that we can improve upon our content. Okay, so quickly, the outline today that we have consists of 5 major topics that we're going to be talking about. These topics, start with, what is Universal Analytics, and then we'll switch over to the key difference between the classic Google Analytics and, Universal Analytics, which is a new version of Google Analytics. Then we'll talk about, migration steps and, how do you ensure that you migrate from classic to universal in the most optimal manner. And then I'll walk you through some of the strategic and tactical impact of this change, how the landscape has changed with this new Universal Analytics and some of its core features. I'll also walk you through some of the examples that I think are very valuable to some of our customers, and I'm hoping that these examples will be valuable for you as a listener as well. And at the end of the webinar, there's going to be a question and answer session. So I would encourage you to ask questions on Twitter. We have a hashtag #webinar. So please feel free to use this hashtag to ask questions, or you can also ask a question on the chat window that you see on your GoToWebinar panel, and that way we can have a good interaction going on. So please go ahead and sort of make yourself comfortable. I'll switch over now to Bhumika. Bhumika, are you ready?
Yes, Ravi.
Okay, brilliant. So I'll make you presenter. There you go.
Great. Thank you so much, Ravi, for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being present today for this webinar. Let's start with understanding what is Universal Analytics. As many of you already know, Universal Analytics is the new operating standard of Google Analytics, which came out of beta on 2nd April 2014. This new analytics version introduces a set of features that changes the way data is collected and organized in the Google Analytics. For example, using the new feature measurement protocol, you can import data from any source like CRM system, your ERP system, your offline conversions into Google Analytics. This allows you to measure how user interacts with your business from almost any environment. Similarly, user ID tracking enables you to track users' behaviors across different devices. So some of these great features are available in Universal Analytics. Before jumping to the new features of Universal Analytics, let's first check out what are some of the differences between classic Google Analytics and Universal Analytics. We have listed some of the differences here. These points are a little technical, but they are important. So let's go through each of the differences separately. So the first difference between Google Analytics and Universal Analytics is the number of cookies. In classic Google Analytics, there are multiple cookies for different purposes. For example, UTM-A is used as a unique visitor cookie, UTM-B is used as a session cookie, and UTM-V is used as a visitor segmentation cookie. While in Universal Analytics, there is only one cookie which is used. The purpose of having this cookie is to identify the user. This is done by generating an anonymous random number and storing it in the cookie. This number is sent on every hit to the Google Analytics server and is used to calculate sessions, users, and campaign metrics. Let's now move on to the next difference between Universal Analytics and Google Analytics. So the next big difference between Google Analytics and Universal Analytics is the subdomain tracking. So in Universal Analytics, the subdomain tracking has been simplified significantly. Earlier in classic Google Analytics, to track a single visitor across multiple domains, you have to implement a bunch of customized codes which would require some technical knowledge. For example, if you have a domain called xyz.com and a subdomain called a.xyz.com, there is always a need of implementing customized codes to keep the user's cookie consistent across all the subdomains. Otherwise, it will generate a new session for each subdomain. But here in Universal Analytics, there is a fantastic inbuilt feature which tracks all the subdomains as a single domain. You do not need to add any code for subdomain tracking in Universal Analytics. For example, if you have a domain called xyz.com and a subdomain called a.xyz.com, the user's cookie will remain consistent across all the subdomains if you are using Universal Analytics. Similarly, to implement cross-domain tracking, you have to simply add a one-line code compared to the complex cross-domain implementation we used to do in classic Google Analytics. So I must say that as an implementation specialist, I like this feature very much as it reduces great deal of time and effort. And I also believe it will help site owners immensely in getting accurate data. Many of our clients face these problems where a huge amount of subdomain traffics were coming as referrals, and it really messed up the data. But now with this feature, the problem of referrals will be solved very easily. So now let's move on to the next difference, which is a real game changer in the world of analytics. And that is importing your external data from any external source into your Google Analytics account. In Google Analytics, we were able to track users' activity from different online properties, from desktop, tablet, mobile, etc. But what if I want to import my customers' data who buys from my physical store? I cannot do that with the classic Google Analytics. But in Universal Analytics, it is possible to import any external data, example your CRM data, your ERP data, your phone sales data, your offline conversions, etc. For example, if you are running an online shop and a physical store as well, you can use the measurement protocol connected to Universal Analytics to link your offline and online activities. This means we can measure offline and online shopping behavior of the customer. In the next section of the webinar, Ravi will share an interesting use case of importing data in Google Analytics and insights that can be generated from that data.
Yeah, I'll certainly do that. But I had a quick question here, if you don't mind, and I think one of our attendees also did ask a similar question. Did you just mention that you can also track the phone conversion as well? Because this becomes very important for one of our customer to track, because they get a lot of transaction that gets transacted over a phone where people sort of provide their credit card. So is that a possibility with Universal Analytics as well? I assume yes, but I'll still confirm it.
Yes, definitely. We can import any sort of external data in Google Analytics using the measurement protocol. So you can send the HTTP post request directly to the Google Analytics server, which will contain all the parameters associated with the phone conversion and which will be tracked into your Google Analytics account. So yes, definitely it is possible.
Great, thanks. That's helpful.
Great. Let's move on to the next difference. The next difference between classic Google Analytics and Universal Analytics is the session and campaign timeout. Session and campaign timeout ends after a specific amount of time in classic Google Analytics. By default, a session ends after 30 minutes of inactivity and campaigns ends after 6 months. Now this has caused problems for some sites on which users generally stay for much longer duration. For example, social networking sites, community forums, video streaming sites, or news websites. But now, with Universal Analytics, you have the opportunity to modify the sessions and campaign timeout values within the admin interface instead of having to add any special codes to your website. So if you have a lot of content and expect users to take a long time engaging with that content, you can lengthen the session time using this Universal Analytics feature without any code implementation. So I think this is a great feature which is added to Universal Analytics. So these were all the differences between classic Google Analytics and Universal Analytics which we have listed. Let me summarize all of them so that we can have a quick overview. The first difference was about the number of cookies, which was Universal Analytics has only one cookie while Google Analytics has more than one cookie. The next difference was about importing external data, which is only possible in Universal Analytics and not in classic Google Analytics. The third difference was the subdomain tracking, which is done automatically in Universal Analytics due to the inbuilt feature which Universal Analytics is having, while in Google Analytics we have to implement some customized codes to do it. The last difference was about the session and campaign timeout, which can be defined easily from the admin section in Universal Analytics. So these were few of the major differences of classic Google Analytics and Universal Analytics. Let's move on to the next section of the webinar, that is the Universal Analytics migration process. After Universal Analytics was out of beta, we observed that people have started migrating to Universal Analytics, and we often see queries from our clients on when they should upgrade to Universal Analytics. And I believe that this is the right time for it. As many of you have observed that Google has already started automatic Universal Analytics transfer process, where your Google Analytics property will migrate automatically to Universal Analytics. And if we go as per Google's announcement, we will see that all the properties will be upgraded to Universal Analytics in near future. So let me go through these steps on how to upgrade to Universal Analytics. Universal Analytics upgrade is a two-step process. The first step is to transfer the Google Analytics property. So you can go to the admin section of your Google Analytics account. You can select the account and select the property which you want to upgrade. You can click on Universal Analytics upgrade button, which is available in your property section. The transfer takes minutes to initiate, but you should allow at least 24 to 48 hours for it to complete. When the transfer is completed, the property would be ready to receive data from Universal Analytics. But there would be a next step which will be required for the transfer to be completed, and that is to update your tracking code. When the first step is completed, you have to update your classic Google Analytics tracking code to the Universal Analytics code. Although updating your tracking code is optional at this time, but we strongly recommend you to complete the second step so you can ensure the highest data quality in your account and get all the benefits of Universal Analytics. You won't have access to the benefits of Universal Analytics until you update your tracking code to Universal Analytics tracking code. Also, when updating your tracking code, it is very important to remember that the first step must be completed after your property has been converted from classic analytics to Universal Analytics. So before doing the second step, you must ensure that the first step is fully completed in your analytics admin section. There are a few more things which needs to be updated. If you are using any sort of customized code on your website, for example, event tracking code to track any of the events on your website, or if you are having an e-commerce store and you are using an e-commerce tracking code, or if you have multiple domains and you are using cross-domain tracking code, all these tracking code needs to be updated to Universal Analytics to have a complete upgrade to the Universal Analytics, and you can have the benefits which is available in Universal Analytics only after you update all your codes. So this was one of the thing which needs to be taken care when you upgrade to Universal Analytics.
That's very interesting. So I had as you were talking through, and I was reading the questions that people sort of started shooting off. One of the questions that I think it's a bit a direct question, but I think it should be asked, and everybody should know about this as well. Let me sort of put it this way. Does migration to Universal result into any sort of data loss, or does it result into any inaccuracy of data, or any change that happens in the front end? Like, does it sort of make, does it count differently, or does it ever happen, or it's nothing like
that? That's a good question. As we have gone through the upgradation process in the previous slides of the webinar, we know that there are two major steps. The first step is to upgrade your property, and the second is to update the tracking code. But while updating the tracking code, you must have to check if the property is fully upgraded to Universal Analytics. And if the code is updated prior to the completion of property upgrade, it will lead to improper data. But yes, if the transition is done smoothly by following both the steps properly, it will not result into any data loss.
Okay. So it's a function of how accurately that's been done. But generally, have you seen any of the property where you may have seen data loss, or has it occurred ever?
We have done this upgradation process for few of our clients, but we sort of go through all the steps in a very accurate manner, and we sort of make sure that we do not miss out any point, or do not miss out updating any code on their website. So till now we have not faced any kind of data loss in any of the analytics account.
Okay. So there are a lot of questions that are coming on, and these are great questions. I will just take one of those questions, and at the end of the webinar, I'll sort of ask the other questions. But one question I was asked is that do we have to update the cross-domain tracking codes if or is it automatically in Universal Analytics? Bear in mind, this is a cross-domain and not a subdomain tracking. So does someone need to sort of update those cross-domain tracking codes as well?
For the cross-domain tracking code, Universal Analytics is having a one-line code which needs to be added on in the basic tracking code of Universal Analytics. So once you add that one-line code in the basic tracking snippet, you will be able to do the cross-domain tracking. But yes, you have to update your previous classic Google Analytics code to the new Universal Analytics cross-domain tracking code. It is totally different from the classic Google Analytics code. So yes, you have to update it.
Okay, very interesting. You know, we have a lot of questions that are coming through, but unfortunately for the attendees, I'll just make sure that I have saved these questions, and I'll sort of jump into those questions at a later stages. Okay, can I you know, sort of be presenter, Bhumika, because this is a section where I think it'll be valuable if I sort of show my screen and talk about the strategic changes that Universal Analytics has brought in, and you know, what are some of the tactical changes that we need to sort of take a look at. So thanks again, Bhumika. I appreciate you sort of sharing your gyan with the attendees. Great.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Okay. So you know, what my goal was to sort of take you know, take you to a 10,000 view approach or 10,000 feet approach of what these changes that Bhumika has described from a technical angle, you know, what these changes are from a business side, and you know, what does it really mean, and then I want to go through some of the tactical like details or quick examples that we want to share with you on what are those, you know, how those changes impact exist on your Google Analytics data. And then at the end of the day, we'll go through the webinar. So you know, please feel free to ask your questions via chat window or via Twitter hashtag Tatvic webinar. Okay, so great. So what we think is Universal Analytics has 4 main pillars based on which all the upgrades that exist. These pillars are, you know, one of the pillar that we think is the cross-device measurement. This is, to us, is a very important pillar because using cross-device measurement, you can view the same users from a multi-device view. So you can actually see how different devices are driving conversions, or how, you know, like is tablet used for research and the desktop used for the conversion. So you can understand all these things with cross-device measurement. The second thing is the measurement protocol that Bhumika explained a bit as well, but essentially what it means is you can send the data into Google Analytics programmatically, which is in, you know, sort of, you can write a code that's also possible using measurement protocol. Dimension widening is very important. It allows you to expand any given variable that you track using the metadata of that variable. For example, if you want to track if you're a publisher and you want to track the page views of different authors, you can always upload the name of the author for all the set of URLs that you have, and you can measure that, the page views for different authors. Or if you're an e-commerce store and you want to know which variant of a product or a given product is converting better, is the blue color converting better or the yellow color converting better? If you want to know that, those are possible dimension that can be widened as well. And the last pillar is enhance e-commerce, which is extremely important. It gives you 10 new actionable reports, amazingly actionable reports for an e-commerce store. And this is a complete rewrite of the conventional e-commerce report that you used to see in Google Analytics in e-commerce section. So, to us, if you are an e-commerce store, this is a game changer for you. This will give you quick and actionable information that you can immediately take and instruct your marketing team or your technical team to make changes to, and you can immediately sort of start improving your business. So I was explaining this. If a visitor goes from one device to other device to tablet, earlier in the classic Google Analytics, they were counted as 3 different unique visitors or users, and with this cross-device measurement, it can be counted as 1 unique visitor or 1 user in general. So this is also very important to know, which device drives research or which device drives conversion. The measurement protocol, as Bhumika already mentioned, it sort of allows you to tie online and offline behavior, and you can actually send data from multiple sources, like your offline store or email opens that you want to send, or you can also send. Essentially, what measurement protocol does is it becomes independent of browser. Your data collection becomes independent of a browser. And it's sort of similar to a post request that you make to your database to save the data. You can actually make the same post request to Google Analytics at a critical events that happen during your interaction with the customer. Dimension widening allows you to import or expand the existing information that you have. Like, for example, if your website is a technical support website and you want to sort of provide the sort of status of each support request that you received, and if you want to add a status to your Google Analytics data and analyze which type of request gets converted quickly into resolve or into the solution, you can actually upload that type of data using dimension widening as well. And I'm going to be discussing one of the examples of dimension widening that we've used in past as well. And lastly, we have enhanced e-commerce, which sort of gives you, very important different set of reports for your store. Some of the reports are behavior report or the flow reports, like shopping behavior and checkout behavior. Some of the reports are performance reports, like product category or list performance, sales performance, and the product performance. And then some of the other reports that you see are coupons reports or promotion reports. So essentially, these are 10 reports, but they are sort of broken down into from a 3 different perspective of how the shopping behavior is being communicated, and then how the performance of a product or a sales has happened, and then coupons as well. Okay, so this is a very high-level information about these are the 4 changes that happens, and what I'm going to do next is going to talk about the tactical, like what are the details. Give me all the detail. Give me the real stuff. Don't do blah blah blah. Let's get to the real stuff. What analysis can be done? What reports can I see if I have universal analytics? So let's jump into this. I'm going to give you a quick example of what reports that you can see if you have implemented cross-device measurement. I will also walk you through a quick analysis that we did for one of the e-commerce store for a product review score. And I'm going to walk you through a couple of interesting reports and how, why do we think that they are game changers, and you can see those game changers as well. All right. Okay, so this is one report that you see in your screen, which is sort of a new report, which is called a cross-device report. And if you see, this report indicates that what proportion of your users actually came from desktop as well as from tablet, and proportion of users came from mobile as well as on the tablet, and it sort of shows the overlap between the devices that they were used. With the limited set of data that we have, there's no overlap here, but eventually you will be able to see, how desktop and tablet eventually gets more users to you, or whether desktop sort of drives research and people convert using tablet at the end of the day, or what's really happening. So this is amazingly powerful report for you to sort of understand the device. And because a lot of the investment of website development and marketing that happens into multi-device or omni-channel world, it's very important for you to sort of know exactly where you would invest into if you know these reports. Because if you're, let's say one of the learnings that we've had is tablets drive a lot of information-seeking customers, like people who want to read, people who want to sort of learn more about it. And tablets did not actually convert it so well for one of our customers. And when we implemented cross-device, we learned that tablets actually drove a lot of information seekers. How it sort of impacted. So one of the analysis that we did was to identify what's the relationship between conversion rate of a product and the average review score. And we found that there was a strong correlation, strong R-square, between the buy to detail percentage. So it's the ratio of number of transactions to the number of views for a given set of products. And then the horizontal axis indicates the average review score. So what it essentially means is, if I have, as the review score improves, the conversion rate of a product increases as well. But after a review score becomes 4, 4 to 5 does not bring in any additional buy to detail or any additional transaction. So what we did is we sort of found that if we could sort of identify the products which had 2 and 3 as their review score, and can we sort of improve their product reviews, which sort of will take the conversion rate of a product, which is buy to detail rate, from let's say 3 to 4 or 4 to 6. So we found these set of products, and eventually realized that we have about 10,000 products which falls into this criteria of having reviews. If we can plot product margins and average review score for given products, we would know that this product A has a profit margin of about 27% and the review score of 1. So if we can take a sort of product A, and whoever buys product A, if we can really bombard them, or if you can send a lot of emails to them asking for a review, and assuming that the product is great, or if there's some way by which we can get more people to review and more people to sort of improvise on the review, then we are essentially, by increasing the review score, we are increasing the product piece buy to detail rate, and eventually that sort of impacts into the increase in the margin. So this is a very quick analysis that anyone can do, if they implement dimension widening and upload the review score data into Google Analytics. Next report that I'm going to show you is the shopping behavior report. And this is one of the out-of-the-box report of Google's new enhanced e-commerce. And this report is, it can explain, how progression to the transaction is happening. How, there are different sessions, and then sessions with the product view, and then sessions with add to cart, checkout, and the transaction. If you take a look at this report, you can immediately identify that there's huge opportunity to improve the people transitioning from product views to add to cart. So people are not doing add to carts. So there's huge opportunity for A/B test at a product view level or product detail space level, and it's so apparent that that most people actually do not add product to the cart. Interestingly, if you can break this funnel down and see, this is more problematic in case of the new visitor. New visitors are not really converting very well because if you see, new visitors are converting at almost half the rate of the returning visitors, which means that you really have to work immediately on enticing this new visitor to get through the conversion funnel very quickly. In returning visitors, you're doing fine, but there's immediate need for new visitors. Maybe you can do a free shipping for the first order, or maybe you can use other tactics to sort of improvise upon this. But just one report, and you're able to identify huge number of actions that you can take from this report. So that's why we think this is a game changer. That's precisely why we think that this can make a huge impact. The next report that I'm going to show you is a product performance report. And product performance report gives you a list of all the action that happens to a given product, like views, add to cart, remove from the cart, checkout, unique purchases, cart to detail, and buy to detail. So cart to detail is a ratio of number of cart views for a product divided by the number of product detail views. And similarly, you have buy to detail as well, the number of transactions divided by number of product details as well. So when you have this data for all the products, it becomes so easy to generate insight and start taking action. I'll give you a quick example. Check out the product number 6, right? I'm just highlighting it for you. It's very easy for me to really quickly find out the insight as it's my day job, but it's so easy, right? 9% people actually buy from a product view for this product number 6, and 21% adds to the cart after seeing the product, which essentially means that people do add a product to the cart, but they don't convert enough, which means that either there is a problem with the shipping cost, or there is some other problem that they are able to identify after they add a product to the cart, and then they sort of decide not to purchase this. So you know exactly where the largest amount of the problem that exists for your store for a set of products, and that way you can immediately start taking action based on these reports. The next report that I'm going to show you, and this is hopefully the last one, but I hope that's not boring for you, but the brand performance report that you see is out-of-the-box report again for a set of brands that you have tracked using enhanced e-commerce. And you can immediately identify that these set of brands, brand number from 2 to 6, do not perform very well compared to the average, which means that if you're a buyer, if you're a store owner, or if you're a director, you can immediately ask these brands that you guys are not doing enough pull for your brands, or your brands are not performing up to the mark on our store. Maybe you should sort of do some more investments in the branding, or maybe you should change the pricing strategy to take these take these brands to have an improved buy to detail ratio, or eventually more people resulting into the buy. The last report that I have to show you is the coupons report, and coupons report can show you amazing insights in terms of what kind of coupons work very well for you. So if you look at these coupons, let's say you build a coupon for increasing the revenue or a top line, you can build the coupons like this, which sort of has a less average order value, but there are more people using these coupons and more transaction being generated. However, if you want to sort of drive coupons or make coupons to drive more profit, or you want to sell higher value items, you can actually do the coupons which are similar to these. So you can know that, are these coupons driving the objective that you have in mind. If the profit is your objective, you should check, how this item number 6 is doing. If your objective is transaction, how the item number 2 is doing. So that way you can understand the coupon's performance as well. And this is again the out-of-box report from the enhanced e-commerce that you get. Alright, so that's all I had from the strategic and tactical impact that we have from enhanced e-commerce. And we have a lot of questions that we can ask, but before we get into the question, I wanted to announce a very quick information for you. The reports that you've seen on enhanced e-commerce, we're going to be explaining them in more details on September of 9th around the same time. So please feel free to log in to our website and register if you want to learn about this. And there's one more webinar that we are doing on 8th of October, which is to understand the impact of TV on the TV advertisement on your website traffic. So can you sort of connect the impact of a TV commercial that you aired on a CNN, and how does it impacted your traffic and your conversion, your transaction? So we're going to be talking about these two. That's a case study that we're writing right now. We finished the project, but something very valuable if you are a huge investor into the television. So just two things to mention, and let's kick off the